Good morning, everybody. Thursday, August 18th, 49ers currently in Minnesota for the joint practices. And I decided to get started a little bit earlier this time. When they're all done, I'm going to start writing. I'm going to focus on Saturday's game. We'll see what Kyle has to say after practice today. We'll figure out a whole lot of stuff. As we did yesterday about the 49ers, I don't really think there were too many surprises, but we did have it verified that they have some work to do along the offensive line. We know that Trey Lance has got a whole heck of a lot of potential. He did well, I thought, in spite of the fact that there were some blocking issues for the 49ers yesterday. And, I shared Matt Barrow's article from Minnesota. Why don't we share it again here as we get started? It's going to be an elongated morning, a more casual show as the 49ers do their thing against the Vikings in Minnesota. But this is from yesterday. 49ers Trey Lance, Deebo Samuel heat up versus the Vikings, including a big fourth down play. Off-schedule fourth down play had to happen because of the pass protection from the Vikings. And one of the themes of this week that we expected would be that Minnesota's defense would test the 49ers offensive line. Danielle Hunter, Zadarius Smith, obviously Harrison Smith, the safety on the back end, is also a good player. There are good players on this Vikings defense, and they tested the 49ers yesterday. Right now, you're seeing warm-ups happen in Minnesota, so we'll be tracking that as we talk. Maybe I answer some questions over the course of the next hour plus. Trey Lance is going to have a bunch of his fellow Marshall High School alumni. And, I've read, this is interesting, you don't have to graduate to be considered an alumni. All you have to do is complete a semester. So even if they're current students at Marshall High School, Marshall, Minnesota, 2.5 to 3 hours away from Minneapolis, where Trey Lance grew up, he's going to have a bunch of his fellow alumni at practice because the Vikings sent several buses out to Marshall to take a lot of current football players from Marshall High School, where Trey Lance went just a few years ago, not that long ago. Trey's he's only 22 years old. So he graduated not that long ago from Marshall High School. They came to Eagan, Minnesota, to the Vikings facility today, which I thought was a nice gesture. So Trey Lance will be playing in front of some of the literal hometown faithful today after going 11 of 18 yesterday with a spike. Based on all reports, it was a solid performance from Trey Lance, not a great one, missed a couple passes. But my main takeaway yesterday was that the 49ers needed to do better along the offensive line. Anyway, how's everybody doing this morning? I am going to pop open a little tracker here just so I could see what's going on the practice field. Doesn't look like anything all too new happening at the moment. The 49ers and Vikings warming up, going through some stretches. 49ers have gone through some drills. This is the second of two joint practices. Tomorrow will be a walkthrough for the 49ers, which they will not do with the Vikings. And then they're going to play against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. So let's see. We got some pictures coming in. Mike is sending me a couple of things. So maybe we pop them up, open on the screen. Oh, Kyle Shanahan has met up with Kirk Cousins. It has happened. And I have I have picture proof. This is via Eric Branch. Kyle Shanahan and Kirk Cousins. They didn't talk yesterday. So somebody asked Kyle about it yesterday, and he's like, no, I didn't see him because I'm on the opposite field. So the way they do these things is they have multiple fields. The Vikings facility has got 4 100-yard fields. It's way bigger than the 49ers facility. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys have a palace, right? That's a palatial estate in Frisco, Texas. The Vikings, probably a close second. They've got a lot of room there in Eagan, just south of Minneapolis. And when they have those 4 fields, well, the Vikings offense is going to work against the 49ers defense in one of the fields. And then the 49ers offense is going to work against the Vikings defense on a whole other field. And Kyle Shanahan is going to be with the 49ers offense. Kirk Cousins is obviously going to be with the Vikings offense. So they're not going to be on the same field. So there you go. The 49ers and the Vikings did not align the Kirk Cousins, Kyle Shanahan meeting until today, but it happened and they both look happy. It looks like Kyle Shanahan may want to trade for Kirk Cousins to replace Trey Lance, right? Don't get any rumors started. It's a joke. It's early in the morning. Got some coffee here, but man, amount of times that we've had to hear Kirk Cousins' name mentioned in, talks of a quarterback that Kyle Shanahan would potentially be interested in over the years has been insanely high. Kyle himself has said that, yes, our initial plan would have been to make a run in free agency at Kirk Cousins in the 2018 offseason. But as we know, the 49ers landed Jimmy Garoppolo before the 2018 offseason, and Jimmy earned himself the contract over those final 5 games of 2017. So all thoughts of Kirk Cousins went out the window. Of course, the Kirk Cousins love affair talk restarted when everybody was wondering about Mac Jones before the 2021 draft, because they figured if Kyle had wanted Kirk back in 2018, he might want another pocket passer who can't really run in 2021. But that's never been the case. Kyle has always idealized the quarterback position and what he wants talent-wise. He wants pocket passing ability to go with mobility. And maybe I should say it the other way around. The mobility is the complement. Pocket passing ability has to be there first. It's just hard to find somebody who's mobile, who can be a good pocket passer. But Kyle feels that he has found that skill set in Trey Lance. All right, so there's Kyle and Kirk. We'll see what else is going on here early in practice. That's courtesy of Eric Branch, San Francisco Chronicle. And we're still working toward team periods here at practice, or at least one-on-ones first. So let me answer a few questions here. We'll have Kyle and Kirk up on the screen there for a few seconds. And if you guys have any questions, let's the Pat McAfee show reached out to me. Interesting. I didn't see that. Gonna have to check that. Is that true? Or is somebody just saying that in the comment section? That'd be cool. Yeah, if that's true about Pat McAfee, then I'll hop on. But I haven't heard anything. Normally producers reach out to me, not the other way around. So if they want to do that 49ers one today, we'll do the 49ers one today. Here's a good one, Juanito. What new formations do you think we'll see with Trey as QB? I think we're going to see a lot more pistol. I think that, this was available in the open practices when the fans were there. The 49ers, to get Trey going, ran some pistol. Zone read obviously is not a new formation. That's not a formation at all. That's a play. But they're going to be creative with the run game. They're going to use their weapons in the run game. Deebo Samuel's incentivized to run, in his contract. Doesn't disallow him from running. So, I think the 49ers will alter the backfield in various ways to keep defenses off balance, but expect Trey Lance to use his legs. Pro Football Talk tweets, source on the Deshaun Watson situation, there will be news today. Interesting. Maybe we'll have Jimmy Garoppolo news. Who knows? All right. We might have a little bit more here. Mike doing a good job keeping me apprised via text. I'm looking at this monitor to my left. I've got the setup today. Fred Warner with a pass breakup on Dalvin Cook. This is from Steph Sanchez, doing a great job out there covering. Let's turn down the volume here. All right, Fred Warner, we're going to replay this. Oh, that's Kellen Mond, isn't it? Man, that was a floater, a little duck. I'll make this a little bit bigger. You could watch Fred at work. Easy PBU. Yeah, that was a lazy pass. Good video, though. Thanks to Steph Sanchez on Twitter. Very good video. Can't think of an easier pass breakup from a linebacker. A lot of this, I know this is one-on-one stuff, but a lot of the one-on-one and 7-on-7 stuff, it looks like it's been a little bit low effort on the Vikings part. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's just coming across that way on video. But yesterday, Patrick Peterson, I'm not talking about the Danny Gray one. I'm talking about the Jawan Jennings catch. I thought that Patrick Peterson was just not. I mean, it was 7-on-7 work, so I get it. And I got to take away this message about the offensive line. I thought I had a joint practice message, didn't I? We'll put on Trey Lance's stats yesterday. Yeah, a lot of it, yesterday I was like, there was one where Patrick Peterson just let Jawan Jennings make the catch over the middle. And it wasn't an 11-on-11 work, so I get it. Peterson's a 32-year-old veteran, so maybe I understand it a little bit more. But, I look at some of these one-on-one reps right here, just the way that they, half-hearted route, floating pass, easy pass breakup for Fred Warner. I'm assuming the Vikings turned it up a little bit during team drills during 11-on-11s. All right, let me get out of some of this stuff. Who is Ambry Thomas doing something? Let's see. We're opening it up. Ambry Thomas, yes. He's winning a rep. Another floating pass. I think this is, it's still Mon throwing. So I'm going to put this one up. Steph Sanchez taking some great videos. Shout out. Doing a great job out there from the stands. Here's Ambry Thomas knocking that ball away there at the very end. I like the screen that they have. You can see the 4 practice fields here. Ambry has consistently throughout his career been in good position. Even when he was struggling last year, I feel that he was in good position to make a play on footballs. But it's been losing at the point of catch that's been his issue. He didn't have to really show any physicality here, so he was in good position and he knocked it away. And I think it's still the physical battles that are an issue for him. I think that players like Diamador Lenore are, stronger than Ambry Thomas, a little bit more feisty at that point of contact. But if Ambry, consistently finds himself in good position, you would think that at some point he's going to get strong enough to start winning more and more of those battles. And he has started winning some of the battles this offseason. One that really stood out to me was in the end zone and one-on-ones of training camp a couple weeks ago against Jawan Jennings, who theoretically should be much stronger than Ambry Thomas. He obviously is much bigger. But when we watch one-on-ones like that, you say, hey, Ambry's still in good position. You just need him to get stronger if you're the 49ers. And that's one thing where I asked the staff, has he gotten stronger? Because I can't really tell. There are certain guys who, they've layered some muscle. The 49ers running backs are the best example. But I can't really tell with Ambry Thomas. And maybe we won't know until push truly comes to shove in the regular season. Ooh, Matt has tweeted a video. Matt Barrows. He is our representative at the Vikings facility for The Athletic. Matt and I doing a lot of 49ers traveling this year. And Matt's doing a great job there from Eagan, Minnesota. So we're going to put Matt's video up here. Make this a little bit bigger. Oh, Matt gave some narration, but I muted him. It's all good. Oh, speaking of, there's Diamador Lenore. Oh, see? Diamador Lenore at the point of catch. What did I say? Now that is what I'm talking about. Diamador Lenore has, as you could see Ambry Thomas at the end of the clip too, but Diamador Lenore has got a little bit more heft to him. And that's a play that requires a little bit of strength to knock that ball away at the very end. It's one of these, and here you could see Ambry at the very end, right there, 20. Ambry's 20. You could tell as the frame is slighter than Diamador's, and this was the case last year as well. And I think that the fact that Diamador is a little bit stronger makes him a potential candidate for the 49ers at nickelback, because nickel, when you're lined up inside, you're going to have to be throwing your body around more than you will at that outside cornerback position. So uh, I think strength though is necessary everywhere. And this is against Justin Jefferson too. So this isn't against just some random scrub on Minnesota's roster. That's Thielen and Jefferson are two stars in this league, and the fact that Diamador Lenore was able to win at the catch point here by getting that that swipe in there and knocking the ball away, I think that's a testament to his strength at the point of the catch. So nice video from Matt, nice play from Diamador Lenore. Mike is giving us some more news. Let me check the text right here. The Browns have delayed their media availability today. Per Mary Kay Cabot, who I believe the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Very interesting. That's because there's probably something going on in the Deshaun Watson situation. And who knows, maybe the Jimmy Garoppolo situation. We are still waiting for resolution on that front. Steph Sanchez tweets, Oren Burks had a nice PBU denying the TD throw from Vikings QB Sean Mannion. Stragosaurus is her Twitter handle. Stragosaurus. Steph Sanchez doing a good job live tweeting from the Vikings facility. All right, any questions here? Let's go through some of these. He might have a little bit longer arms than Ambry Thomas. Really, Diamador Lenore is just a little bit stronger. You can just tell he plays stronger, plays a little bit more confident at the point of attack. He might not move quite as smoothly as Ambry Thomas, but he's a little bit stronger. And I think that we saw on that play on Justin Jefferson and one-on-ones right there. I thought that was really interesting. Now, that's one I want to retweet here. Matt. Yeah, that's from Matt, right? So why don't we go to Twitter? This reminds me of free agency where you guys are just watching me work, except this is more fun because there's actually football going on the screen. It would be shocking if you want the nickelback position over Womack, but I mean, that's still very much a battle, but I think that Womack has the lead and the 49ers realized, Denard, he's probably not going to hold on to this at this rate. So they decided to give the younger guys more leeway by releasing Denard. Okay, 11-on-11s haven't started yet. Per Aaron Wilson, resolution is expected soon in the Deshaun Watson disciplinary matter per league sources. So we'll be keeping our eye out on that. Meanwhile, I'm going to send out a tweet right now because I thought that Barrows had a really nice video. And I got to share this on Twitter. Diamador Lenore knocks one away from Justin Jefferson. Impressive. Heat. Out there. Good stuff. Trey Lance, Steph Sanchez. Trey Lance overthrows an open tight end Tanner Hudson in the end zone. That leads me to, why don't we talk a little bit about Trey Lance as we wait for 11-on-11 stuff to kind of evolve here at practice. I think it's a great opportunity to talk some Trey Lance and what some of the numbers that we have from training camp might mean. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up for you. You guys can follow along here. By the way, I'm going to open this sucker up. This is the 49ers 90-man depth chart. I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat section. If you want to follow along there, you could take a look. It's a 53-man projection, 90-man depth chart. But I have something that you might find even more interesting available. I just have to get to it here. It's also on Google Sheets. 49ers QBs at 2022 training camp. Here we go. All right, so we could share this sucker. So if you want to get to this one, I'm copying and pasting it. That's also in the chat section. All right, so this is every single practice logged. I have yesterday's in there as well. So the 49ers have now had 15 practices. We are watching practice number 16 right now. We're tracking it in Minnesota. Technically, training camp might be over with this one. It just depends on how long the 49ers want to extend training camp. In prior years, training camp ended after week 2 of the preseason because you did the dress rehearsal in week 3. But this season, week 3 is a Thursday game against Houston. Matt Mayoko tweets, Terry Ballman, the head football coach at Marshall High School, tells me that there are 115 athletes, coaches, and staff at today's practice to watch alum Trey Lance and the 49ers practice against the Vikings. That's a lot of buses. That's probably, 3 buses? Get 115 people, maybe 2. So the Vikings got a couple buses, went out to Marshall, picked up Trey Lance's former high school team, brought him in. Cool story there. Okay, so this is practice number 16. We'll see if this is it for training camp or if I'm going to be logging a couple more. But you could see here that I have the splits for all the quarterbacks, but also splits divided into scripted portions of practice and move the ball splits. And to me, the most important ones are here. And, you could open up the link because I don't know if it's going to be big enough on the screen, but move the ball, which most closely resembles real football. Trey Lance so far is 40 of 60 with 2 picks and a 67% completion rate. Way better than the scripted portion of practice, which Kyle Shanahan, kind of pre-selects, where he's only completed 50% of his passes. So Lance is 53.5% total, but in move the ball, he's at 67%. And why is that significant? Well, to me, it's significant because last year in move the ball, Trey Lance was only a 48.4% passer in move the ball. He's gone from 48.4 to 67%, which shows me that there's been improvement. Now, we just heard about him overthrowing Tanner Hudson. I'm not even sure if that was in an 11-on-11s. Is accuracy still something to be concerned about? It absolutely is. I'll be the first to say that. But I'll also be the first to say that there has been marked progress, and this is why I keep these stats, because otherwise it's just anecdote, and it's people coming to whatever conclusion they want to come to based on whatever anecdote that they see. But if we actually keep track of the misses and the numbers, well, Trey Lance's completion percentage is demonstrably higher at 2022 training camp, working against the first-team defense than it was in 2021 training camp, working against the second-team defense. So he has become more accurate over this 1 year. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But 2 things can be true at once. He can be more accurate, and there still needs to be work to finish, right? It's still a big-time work in progress. And you just have to remember that coming from Minnesota in high school and North Dakota State in college, Trey Lance was a very, very raw prospect. Steph Sanchez, Kirk Cousins working the red zone period, looked off the safety to get his tight end Zach Davidson wide open. Next play, found his receiver, Kadar Hallman on coverage. Hallman, the Toledo product, teammates with Samuel Womack back in college. All right, so anyway, that I'm going to pop that open one more time. That this is where you're going to find all your Trey Lance splits, and I think, some of the stats are rudimentary, but I wouldn't say that they're insignificant. I absolutely think that if we properly, fairly track these and compare it to last year's numbers, we can learn something out of this. And I definitely have, and I think it does mirror what we're seeing on the field. All right, right now I want to go to The Athletic. This is my page on The Athletic. This is all the coverage that you've seen in recent days. Check out this link. It's in the chat section. And Carlos Acosta said, Kyle said stacking practices, getting better daily. Absolutely. That's what's important. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but you want it to be like an index fund in the stock market. You want to get better with time despite the blips that go down, right? You don't look at the account every single day and freak out. Like, you take note of the days that it dips, take note of the days that it goes up, but you want it to be going up more than it goes down over a longer period of time. So Trey Lance, we could compare him to an index fund. So this is my page on The Athletic. You could subscribe to any of these articles for $1 a month. So the other day I wrote a big piece here on Kyle Juszczyk, as you can see. Go back, we'll go to some of the other ones. I'm going to have one on 49ers and Vikings. Charles Omenihu was a really, really fun conversation piece that we wrote last week, August 12th. It's already been almost a week. Geez, time has gone by quickly. Might be the next breakout 49ers defensive line product. We're getting into this, here after the game. I was really able to delve into the Samuel Womack story. Noticed that a few other places picked up some of the details from this, but hey, it's all good. The 49ers may have uncovered another 5th-round draft gem in Samuel Womack. So as you can see, we're going, the next level with some of this coverage on The Athletic. So, I'll put this up on the banner. Subscribe to The Athletic. Check it out. See what it's all about. Because as you could tell, it's stuff that will get you far, far into the 49ers. Chris Kasarik a couple weeks ago evaluating the newcomers on the 49ers defensive line. I wrote this right before training camp. This ended up being a good piece. Catching up with Chris Kasarik, intense guy, really, really valuable member of this 49ers coaching staff. Just taking a look to see if there's some updates. Are there any questions while we wait here? Working on the coffee. Juanito keeps on asking some good questions. Injuries have been a big concern since Shanahan became head coach. Are you aware if he made decisions on the hiring of their training staff? If not, should the head coach have a say in that area? Yeah, they fired the whole training. They brought in a new one in 2017. That didn't work out. And before 2019, they replaced it. They completely tried to go holistic with the strength and conditioning department, fusing it there with the medical department. I do think that what was progress made, especially in 2019, but the COVID year was so exceptional, right? Given the lack of preparation that these teams had, injuries were an issue all around the league. So it's really hard to blame 2020 and kind of even the aftermath 2021 when the 49ers played 20 games, the franchise record, an NFL record, 12 road games. Of course, they're going to wear down over the course of that season. Shanahan, though, was annoyed the other day about the amount of muscle strains the 49ers were suffering. That's something to keep an eye out for. But to answer your question, he was in charge of hiring this training staff. He brought in a whole new one because it was such a big issue in 17 and 18. So they brought in this new training staff, and he has expressed some concern with the hamstring strains. I don't know if he associates it with the training staff per se, but this is something the 49ers have worked to rehaul in the past, and they're still dealing with some issues. Now, the key is perspective. Zoom out and realize the whole league gets hurt, right? It's not just the 49ers. So you have to look at injury rate. And in 2020, it was worse than anybody's. But in 2021, it wasn't, and they played a ton of games. So I would really just urge everybody to keep it in that kind of perspective before calling for people to get fired. You don't want to call for people's money when it's not appropriately kind of linked. But I do think that's a good question. We have a photo of the people from Marshall, Mike. That'd be cool to share. I'm going to check it out. Yeah, I would love to share some of the 100 plus that came from Trey Lance's alma mater. But I would have to find that here on this screen first. It's a tiring day. I got bit by a mosquito last night, like a few times. It was hard to sleep. Thank God that itches. Not your. Love it. What are the options if the O-line pains persist? Is this something the 49ers are going to roll with the punches throughout the season and continue to coach up? Probably. You could have an emergency break the glass option in somebody like J.C. Treader, but there's no guarantee that that's going to help fix 4 positions on the line. That's the issues. There could be multiple issues on this offensive line. So I've always advocated that the 49ers should do more on the offensive line. I think the only offseason so far where I've been totally satisfied with their efforts as far as somebody analyzing what they need to do has been 2021 when they got Trent Williams and Alex Mack in the same night. But they obviously now need to replace Mack and Laken Tomlinson. So we'll see how they do. Looks like Matt Barrows. Oh, good. We have the goods here. We have the goods. Let's get this up on the screen. Let's get this. This picture deserves to be big up on that screen. There we go. That is it. The Marshall Tigers, you could see on their shirts. There's their 2022 schedule. We can read off of several of their shirts. Trey Lance's high school alma mater. Very neat. Vikings bust them in from about 3 hours away. That photo courtesy Matt Barrows on The Athletic. Great stuff. I love this kind of stuff. I mean, Trey, again, he's only 22 years old. So it probably didn't overlap with anybody that's still in high school. I think that these guys might have been in 8th grade when he was a senior. But yeah, what high school class was Trey in? We got to do some reverse dating on this to figure it out. But and Tracy Sandler has a picture. Tracy does a good job too. They're like they've taken up a whole row, it looks like here. Somebody commented on Tracy's. You could see it up on the screen. Must be such a cool moment for Trey. I mean, he's just 4 or 5 years removed from high school, and his, fellow Marshall High School alumni from this small town in Minnesota are all out there watching in a line. That is neat. News: Deshaun Watson has been suspended for 11 games and is fined $5 million per Pro Football Talk. Wow. So that's an interesting length of time. And we could talk about that here for a few minutes. Why don't we pivot attention to this? I'm going to create a banner. Deshaun Watson suspended 11 games. Who cares about the fine? We're going to talk about the football aspect of this. Fined a few million, but suspended for 11 games. So it was 6. It was nearly doubled to 11. Remember, there are 17 in the regular season. So over half the season now. Previously, it was about a third of the season. So now what do the Browns do? They're missing their starting quarterback for over half the season, and they have a ready veteran roster. I think, if you're the Browns, 11 games is a lot of games to hand the reins over to Jacoby Brissett. Can you stay afloat? Is it not going to kill your Super Bowl or playoff chances if you play Jacoby Brissett for 11 games? That's the calculus the Browns have to make. I think if Watson were out the full season, it's a slam dunk. You have to go get somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo. Jadeveon Clowney came to Cleveland just because of Deshaun Watson. He said that they need a veteran presence at quarterback. They need somebody who can make sure, that everything is glued together. And with Deshaun being out for 11 games, you're really broaching into the territory of this is going to compromise the season for the Browns. We'll see if they think that way. We'll see if they trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. If they do, and, I was talking about a potential conditional trade before this. Now you have the conditions, right? So you could still attach, some sort of conditional language to a potential trade. You could still say, okay, we know Deshaun suspended for 11 games. Jimmy, if you come in and play and start 11, we're going to send the 49ers a 4th-round pick or a 3rd-round pick. I don't know. I'm just tossing numbers out there. But if he's playing so well and Deshaun, does come back, but they want to keep on rolling with Jimmy, at least for this season, because they don't want to mess up some kind of chemistry, the 49ers could get a higher pick back. So I think a conditional return is still possible in this case, but I really, really think at 11 games, the Browns have to think about, something that's better than Jacoby Brissett. Because 11 games, that's a full college season essentially, right? NFL is just a really long year. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But you really, at that length, you have to start thinking about what are we going to do to make sure that we stay in the playoff hunt. That being said, Watson looked really, really rusty. He hasn't played in a really long time during his preseason action. So, Cleveland's in between a rock and a hard place, and they put themselves in this position by deciding to trade for Deshaun Watson, giving him all that guaranteed money. A lot of people thought that he'd be out the whole season. That's not going to be the case. 11 games. That's most of the season. It's not all of it. And it puts the Browns in a spot where they're going to have to make a decision. So it's going to be time for me to tweet here in a second. Tweet coming from. Oh, that's from the 49ers. Fred Warner. George Kittle. George Kittle beat Harrison Smith, according to Steph Sanchez. I'm going to play these two clips for you on the screen. Then we're going to tweet about Deshaun Watson. So that's the Watson news. I'm sure that people talking about it in the chat section. All right, let's watch this. George Kittle and Harrison Smith. I need to watch this one more time. Oh, a little in cut. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. The Vikings doesn't seem like they're going full speed in some of these one-on-one drills. Although, I mean, that's a nice route from George Kittle. And Harrison Smith, older safety, but big win for George. Fred Warner won something in one-on-ones here. Fred said nope, according to the 49ers. Oh, okay. This is the one that we saw earlier against Cook, where the pass was a really lazy one. You could tell from that angle how bad that pass was. I mean, Cook kind of slowed down, and Warner made an easy pass breakup. So both videos from the 49ers official account. That updates us on what's happening at practice. And I will head to my Twitter. Wow, Deshaun Watson is eligible to return versus the Texans. That's crazy. I guess that's week 12 or whenever, based on the bye week for Deshaun's new team, the Cleveland Browns. $11 games. What percentage of the regular season is that? Let's look this up. Let's get the calculator open. Somebody should do this for me in the chat section, but I don't have it open. That is 65% of the season. $11-game suspension. So this is going to be my tweet. So the question is, the Browns willing to hand the keys to a veteran roster that long to Jacoby Brissett. 11-game suspension for Deshaun Watson. That's 65% of the season. So the question is, are the Browns willing to hand the keys to a veteran roster for that long to Jacoby Brissett, for a veteran playoff hopeful roster? All right, tweet is out. That's what I think. What's everybody thinking about the Deshaun Watson situation? Of course, he's going to get heckled at every stadium. That's the first comment that I saw. Scrolling up here for a bit more. I mean, I think it's realistic. I mean, the Browns' own reporters are saying they're thinking about it. The question is, what do the Browns think about Deshaun missing 65% of the season? Are they comfortable enough in their own roster and in Jacoby Brissett to, roll with that, or do they want something that's going to be, a higher chance of stability and Jimmy Garoppolo? That's what it comes down to. And I don't know what the Browns are thinking. And again, they could still do a conditional trade. They absolutely can still do a conditional trade because, Jimmy can get hurt. They could be afraid of that, right? So it could be a smaller return for the 49ers if he only plays 2 games. It could be an average size return, the original agreed upon size of return, if he plays 11 games. And it could be a greater return if for some reason he plays more. But I don't know if the Browns want to do it. Like, I know they're interested because I've seen the reporting, and it'd be crazy to not be interested, but I don't know if they're going to like actually execute this and actually try to make it happen. But now the clock is ticking. That's all that we know. All right. What else is new, guys? Anything else happening here at practice? Taking a look at it. Well, 49ers can get cap savings either way. They're not guaranteed Jimmy Garoppolo's money. They could just release him before, I think, September 10th, I want to say. If they don't want him to take up a roster spot, they got to part ways with him before the cut down to 53. That's August 30th. But if they want the cap savings, they can have the cap savings. They don't have to find a trade partner to do that. I guess we had a little bit of a fight at 49ers practice. Oh boy. Yeah, there was. All right. Let's go. We're going to check this out, putting this up on the screen. Shanahan said, and he has a deal with O'Connell, the Vikings coach, that if there are punches thrown, the player will be kicked out. So here's video of the fight, courtesy Brad at the SF Niners. And let's play this sucker. Let's see what happened. Let's get we'll do audio for this. Yeah, there's no punches being thrown here. That's not a fight. I'd say it's a little shoving match. I didn't see any punches thrown. Did you guys see any punches thrown? I'm going to turn off the audio so it's not. No punches, no punches. Looks like Greenlaw in there. Obviously, Bosa's pulling somebody back. Looking at all the 49ers are involved. Kinlaw seems to be, Greenlaw seemed to be at the middle of that. But again, no punches thrown. It's two guys just locked up there with each other. Looks like George Odom trying to play peacemaker. That's courtesy Brad at the SF Niners. Again, Brad at the SF Niners does a good job. So you guys can see it's nothing. And just a little pushing and shoving. Danny G, good dude. Oh, no punches or else Shanny going to come down with the banhammer. Yeah, not going to happen on that one, though. Yeah, people are all disappointed. They wanted something crazier. Hasty breaks off a big run in team drills, according to Steph Sanchez. Well, we have a few minutes. Why don't you subscribe to The Athletic? Subscribe to the channel. Follow along on Twitter. Lombardi himself. A little skirmish happened in Tampa Bay right now. Bucks and Titans. Multiple players separated from each other. Well, I mean, I guess skirmish in the 49ers practice. Depends what word you want to use, I guess. All good. All right, we have a Trey Lance scramble from Steph Sanchez. First, we have a Bosa, Talanoa Hufanga, and Ken Crawley tackle for loss. This is good. Let's get this up here. This is from Steph Sanchez. This is going to be a handoff, left side. I wonder if Kinlaw does work here too. Oh, yeah, he does. Kinlaw. 72's having a rough time this week. Just Jesse Davis against Javon Kinlaw. But, you're not going to be able to block Bosa with a tight end. What are they doing? They tried to do the same thing yesterday. The Vikings did. It didn't work. They tried to block Bosa with a tight end again today. It doesn't work. And then top of the screen, you see Lance running. What a cool video. So on the bottom of the screen, you see a Nick Bosa tackle for loss. You see Ken Crawley, 14, coming in, helping out. Talanoa Hufanga also in the backfield. And then right now, pan up top of the screen, 49ers offense. Trey fakes the hasty boot right. Trey going to move. I mean, he's a weapon. He's got the legs. And watch this one more time. Watch Talanoa on the blitz. I was talking about that shark blitz from Talanoa Hufanga. There you go. It's the shark blitz from Talanoa Hufanga. Look, we're going to pause. This is a great video. I can't wait to tweet this one out. This is an awesome, awesome video. A lot going on here. This is the glory of joint practices, right? Okay, so first, pause right here. Do you see Talanoa circling him? The 49ers don't have K'Wan Williams anymore. And K'Wan Williams was so good at creeping up to the line of scrimmage, bolting through, making sacks, tackles for loss. That's why they called him the shark, right? He was slippery. He knew his way around. They don't have that position anymore. They have Samuel Womack now, who's right here, nickelback. But I think Womack's better in coverage than K'Wan Williams, especially late in K'Wan's career. But I don't know if Womack's as good of a blitzer. I do know that Talanoa Hufanga has the instincts to be an awesome blitzer. So what do? They move Talanoa into that shark role. So right here, Talanoa into that shark role. Beautiful, because this is going to work. He's going to slip through that line. No problem. They don't block him. And he's got the right angle. Bosa, they tried to block him with a tight end. That didn't go well. I mean, rewind here. Watch 82. Try to block Nick Bosa. I mean, this is a joke. I don't know why Ben Ellefson is wasting his time, but Bosa easily sheds 82. Hufanga's totally unblocked. Plays over. Ken Crawley in there as well. Tackle for loss. All right, now let's move to the top of the screen. Let's see what's going on here. Play fake. Stop it there. You see Tyler Kroft is the tight end in motion. 49ers actually have somebody to at least neutralize the pass rusher there. Kroft does a good job on this play. And he could run. I mean, it looks like Trent Williams, got beat on the play, but that's where legs come in handy for Trey Lance. He runs and he picks up at least a few yards. Maybe would have been a first down. It was 2nd and 5 in a game. Impressive stuff for the 49ers on both fields. First from Bosa and from Talanoa Hufanga, and then from Trey Lance. And an impressive video from Steph Sanchez. So I am going to tweet this sucker out. This is good. This is the good stuff right now. We're getting the good stuff. Nick Bosa sack and a cool Justin Jefferson catch is coming. I'm going to get to that in a second, though. As soon as I find out where my StreamYard actually is. There it is. All right. All right, so I need to... This is a really good video. So I'll put her. See Talanoa Hufanga in a Talanoa Hufanga in a shark blitz roll combined with the Vikings trying to block Nick Bosa with a tight end. Then Trey Lance's legs on display. A lot happening in one camera frame. All right, I think we have some more stuff, guys, which I'm excited about. Let's see what we got here. Let's open this one up. So we're going to see oh my God, they try to have Ellefson pass blocking Bosa now? Are the Vikings serious? So literally like a play right near where Bosa blew up that run after they try to have 82 blocking him. They try to go for some of that nonsense again. All right, so here you go. We'll make it big. Okay, look, that's 82 trying to pass block Bosa. Of course it's going to be a sack. Of course that throw is going to have to go out of bounds. Oh, I mean, wow, was a So it would have been a sack. Ended up being a cool catch. It would have been out of bounds anyway. It's Justin Jefferson. Look at that. Wow. Cool video. Good job from Brad at the SF Niners. Follow him on social media. But I can't believe they're having 82 block Bosa. What a joke. Let's retweet him. Why the Vikings repeatedly trying to block Bosa with a tight end. All right. I don't get it either. Another sack for Bosa? Is it because he was... Okay, this time it was Darisaw. At least this time they're going to... Yeah, okay, this time he beat... Okay, now we'll... Okay, so maybe the Vikings figure that their defensive tackle can't handle... Their offensive tackle can't handle Nick Bosa. So they'll just decide to go with the tight end because look at this. Darisaw, second-year player, 71. No chance. It's over. I mean, Bosa's going to have so much fun once the regular season actually starts because he's going to actually be able to corral these quarterbacks. Trey just threw a pick on a tip pass. This is from Steph Sanchez. I'm going to open this up. Did you guys get that Bosa video? Did I have it open on the screen? I hope I did. I got a lot going on here. All right, Steph Sanchez has a Trey Lance interception video. Get this sucker up on the screen. All right, Lance, RPO. Looked like it bounced off of Deebo Samuel there, and it's picked off. I can't tell whose fault that was. Fake to Wilson. I mean, he tried to layer this pass over the linebacker into double. Yeah, this is probably a little too tight of a window. I mean, this isn't a... I won't say triple coverage, but it is double coverage. And that ball gets knocked away. That's probably one that... I mean, Trey's got some time here. That's not one that you force. So you put this one on Lance. Pops up in the air. I mean, it was good coverage. They didn't have the right play called against whatever that coverage was. But if there's time, the Vikings pass rush is letting up. I mean, they're dropping in the coverage here. I mean, that's one where Trey should wait and should use his legs, and he didn't. So that is an interception for Trey Lance. Fred Warner with a run stuff coming up. Any questions right now as we plow forward? It's 9:13 a.m. Pacific time, 11:13 a.m. in Minnesota Central time. I'm watching a couple other videos. I guess Fred Warner's having a really good day, according to Steph Sanchez. Got Trey Lance on a keeper run here. Tarvarius Moore with a would-be sack of Sean Mannion. That according to new 49ers team reporter Lindsay Polaris. Tarvarius Moore. So they're sending Tarvarius on a blitz. That's interesting. D'Amico Ryans, I mean, he's gotten creative. Yeah, last year was his first year as defensive coordinator. He really grew on the job, right? I really liked some of the shark blitzes that he called. And, you know, we've seen Talanoa on the blitz here. Now we're hearing about Tarvarius Moore on the blitz. Now we're going to see Trey Lance on a quarterback keeper. Why don't we watch this? This is, again, from Steph Sanchez. Lance on the keeper. I can make this bigger for you. Let's watch. Oh, look at that blocker out in front. That's Kittle. Yeah, that's Kittle. This is designed right here for the 49ers. Look at that. That's a design play. They've got George Kittle out in space. Ayuk is blocking. Deebo Samuel. throwing a shove out there on the near side. That's a good play. Expect to see some of that for the 49ers this year. I mean, they've got a lineup that can block, right? Those receivers are physical. They can get out in front of Trey. They could be creative with that QB run game. And Steph Sanchez is just doing an awesome job. Gets Fred Warner with this run stuff. And we can put this one up on the screen as well. We've got a lot of videos here from people up in the stands at practice. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Oops. I always like to turn off the sound. So, all right, this one will just play on loop a couple times. Trying to see who all's getting in on that one on the inside. And we could pause this a little bit and look at some of the 49ers interior defensive linemen. Oh, you know who's back? Hassan Ridgeway right there, 98 from the quad strain. Got Ridgeway, Gibbons, Kamoko Toure, and Bosa. Doesn't look like they're in a wide 9 here. Looks like they're in a little bit more of a bunch, unless the angle is just deceptive. I mean, good push from Gibbons. Bosa's already winning again. This is going to allow Fred, when the defensive line ruptures the O-line, like they do right here. I mean, you could tell already a second off the snap, there's rupturing going on. That gives the linebackers a lot of free reign to just plug whatever hole there might be. And all of them are in on it. Aziz is here. Fred Warner's over here. Dre's up there. This is a nice little base down defense, and Warner is the one that plugs the hole. That's good run defense, and it starts with a nice, powerful push up front from the 49ers defensive line. Interesting. I thought that was Ridgeway, but it wasn't. It's Akeem Spence, 78. So I thought it was 98, but it was 78 Akeem Spence, the veteran defensive tackle. He gets a little bit more washed out on the play, doesn't have as good of a rep, but I like what Gibbons did here. I mean, he held a nice fortified wall up on that defensive front. Liking all these updates coming out of practice. This is fun. That's a Warner run stuff. All right, good stuff. So anyway, those of you who just joined, news, Deshaun Watson suspended 11 games. We'll see what happens. He'll be eligible to come back against Houston in December. 11 games is 65% of the regular season. Do the Browns believe that Jacoby Brissett can take them through that portion of the year? I do not know. We'll see what the Browns are thinking moving forward. If not, well, then Jimmy Garoppolo probably not getting traded anywhere, barring an injury here over weeks 2 and 3 of the preseason, because if the 49ers can't trade him by August 30th or at the very latest September 10th, it's very likely going to be released. And then he could sign elsewhere. And that's, a nightmare for the 49ers potentially if Seattle picks him up and they have to play Seattle in week 2. So, I mean, the 49ers are definitely not in an ideal situation here, but they just have to play the cards that they are dealt. Practice still going on. Deshaun Watson released a statement. I could read it. I'm grateful. This is from Deshaun Watson, statement through the Cleveland Browns. I'm grateful that the disciplinary process has ended and extremely appreciative of the tremendous support that I've received throughout my short time with the Browns organization. Apologize once again for any pain this situation has caused. I take accountability for the decisions I made. My focus going forward is on working to become the best version of myself on and off the field and supporting my teammates however possible while I'm away from the team. I'm excited about what the future holds for me in Cleveland. That's from Deshaun Watson. Well, the contract's not that big of an issue for Garoppolo because it's not guaranteed. You could rework and will have to rework the contract. It's health was the first issue. because he wasn't healthy all offseason. And now teams might still be skeptical of health in the longer term because he's gotten hurt so many times. But it's about need for the quarterback, right? And also it's about the fact that the 49ers are in a bind where they're going to have to release him if they don't want to pay him the money, so that, a lot of teams can feel they can wait the 49ers out. If they don't feel desperate right now, they feel they can wait the teams out. The Browns might feel desperate after Deshaun has been suspended 11 games, but they might not. I don't know how the Browns feel. So the 49ers need a slew of things to happen in their favor for this to become a situation where somebody's willing to pay draft capital for Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's, again, they're not in an advantageous position. Stuff didn't break in their way with the surgery and all that. We all know that, but he needed the surgery. Injuries happen in football. It happens, right? And now the 49ers have to find a way to make lemons out of the lemonade. Told that there are 40 minutes left in practice. It's going to be a full 2 hours today between the 49ers and the Vikings. So I'm going to go through some articles on Athletic here. Get you guys to sign up. Surprised nobody's complained that I keep on drinking my coffee. It's taken too long to drink my coffee during free agency. That was a thing. All right, let's go up here. Those of you just joining, David Lombardi on The Athletic. The page is right here. So check it out. You can join for $1 a month. We've gotten to write some fun pieces already this season. Link is there in the chat section. Well, it's tough right now. Teams had to cut down to 85, and teams, generally use training camp to those back ends of the roster to test out younger players who are going to have more upside than Darqueze Dennard. Dennard's a guy who's probably not going to sign until somebody needs him to win football games. The 49ers might end up needing him to win football games. They did last year. So they tried to end this relationship for now on good terms. Kyle Shanahan even alluded to that yesterday, saying, maybe we're going to need him at some point, but this is not like the back end of the career, 1-year veteran kind of signing period in the NFL. This is, you use those roster spots on guys in camp who need to prove themselves. Starbucks, not Starbucks. This is from a place up here. It's a little chain, and not a chain coffee shop, but yeah, whatever. Caffeine is caffeine, right? Like I said, I couldn't sleep last night. This is me on like 1 hour of sleep. So we had to get the coffee, and now we're just chilling. Now we're just sitting here. We're waiting for the 49ers to get through this practice. They might have finished some team periods right now. Mike isn't pumping any more videos my way. We'll go through a few more here in a minute. Kind of give people the rundown through practice. I mean, yeah, you had Fred Warner making plays earlier. I mean, by the way, follow these people that are working really hard on Twitter. Steph Sanchez. You can follow Brad on Twitter. He's working hard. He had, this little post-play scuffle. And, of course, Matt Barrows. Matt Barrows, this is Trey Lance's high school alumni. All those guys there. They bust him in from Marshall, Minnesota, so he's doing a great job. Eric Branch, Kirk Cousins, Kyle Shanahan. Follow Eric as well on Twitter. And then, join us on The Athletic. This is Matt's article from yesterday. I'll put that in the chat section one more time. I just like to use social media, talk about all the work we're doing, tie it all together, interact with you readers. And we put so much time, effort, and sweat and blood into the. We don't actually put blood into them, but we put some sweat into these articles on The Athletic, and Matt did a great job with the practice report yesterday. So make sure to check that out. Yeah, the coffee sip timings are under review. Yeah, smash that like. Nice little casual morning. It's all good. Good question here for Dan. David, how do you see the NFC West competition shaking out? Do you think the 49ers will win the division? It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be them and the Rams. And, you know, I think Seattle's going to be a little bit better than people expect. I think they're going to have a hungry I think the type of roster that Seattle has is really conducive to Pete Carroll's kind of rah style. They're going to have more of a college roster this year, so they might make a dent in some things. I don't know if they're going to contend for the division given the quarterback situation there, but the West is going to be tough to play in my opinion. And obviously, you have Arizona, but until they prove they can actually finish a season, I'm going to be skeptical of those guys. But if we look at the 49ers and the Rams, I mean, that's a heavyweight rivalry. And it's going to depend on Stafford's health and the 49ers offensive line in front of Trey Lance. Because if I believe in Trey Lance, but if he's going to need some level of protection that was better than what we saw yesterday. And speaking of him, he just completed a pass to Deebo Samuel. So why don't we take a look at it? No, he doesn't. He overthrew Deebo Samuel. So let's see how bad it was. Steph Sanchez again. Make this a little bit bigger. Oh, yeah, he missed a little high, and it was on one of those deep outs. So here you go. Get this one up on the screen for you. Get the Deshaun Watson suspension news off. Here's Trey going for Deebo from Steph Sanchez. High. That's the pass that Trey has been struggling with most during training camp is the deep out. He has been sailing it high, and obviously that one had no chance. Is the line getting backed up into Trey? Well, let's find out. We could pause it right here. See Banks working the pass protection on the left side. That actually looks decent. But it looks like a back. I don't know. I think that's Sermon. Looks like a run. Yeah. So, I mean, Sermon tried to take on a bigger outside linebacker, it looks like. And he's trying to help there at the very least. Yeah. I mean, Lance did get hurried. So it wasn't the cleanest pocket and obviously wasn't the best throw. So another video, an overthrow from Trey Lance. So at the end of practice, we'll have the final tally. We'll see how Trey did today from an accuracy standpoint. Yesterday, he was 11 of 18. And now Trent Williams gave up a sack to Danielle Hunter, according to Mike. So yesterday, Trey was 11 of 18. There was a spike in there. He made a couple nice off-schedule plays. He also missed a couple throws like the one that we just saw, Deebo Samuel. I mean, it was really an average of what we've seen throughout camp. Now, 11 of 18 with a spike isn't bad. It's a decent completion percentage, especially considering the fact that the offensive line in front of him wasn't great. And that's why I talked about the offensive line yesterday so much, because I think it's the single biggest hinge point on this 49ers team. I believe that Trey Lance will be good enough for the 49ers if they protect him decently enough. That's my kind of big take on the season. All right, got more for you. Oh, yeah, this is Danielle Hunter just getting by Trent Williams. So Trent is great, but he's not perfect. And he gets beat here. Here you go. Off left tackle, TV's in the way there, but you'll see Danielle Hunter win on the speed rush. And I mean, this is Trey Lance. He does make the completion to Ayuk, but they called it a sack. In real life, this is the age-old debate, right? In an actual game where the quarterback can be tackled to the ground and they don't just blow these plays dead, will Trey Lance be able to escape this? Maybe he will. We won't know until the season starts. And this is why we won't, we have to reserve judgment on a lot of this stuff. Can Trey Lance escape that sack from Danielle Hunter and create the off-schedule play to Brandon Ayuk in a way that a lot of other quarterbacks in the NFL can't? honestly, we have to say that we have to wait and see for that. And that's what makes this, kind of a tricky evaluation. I could chart completion percentage and passes in camp all day long. But when it comes to the less predictable off schedule stuff, there's a chance that's where Trey Lance really shines, where this season begins. And the 49ers believe that. But there's no way to tangibly measure it until the games actually happen, until he actually has a chance to break some of those tackles. All right, let me answer a few questions. Let's go for it here. Guys, ask whatever you need to here as we're waiting for practice. As soon as it's done, got to hear Kyle. I'm going to write, so I'm going to get to work as soon as this practice is done. No, I wouldn't say it's backed up by his move the ball stats because we don't know what's a sack and what's not. I mean, Trey's better. Move the ball stats are good. He's been better this year, way better this year than last year. Move the ball. He's been better move the ball this year than in scripted portions this year. But we're still not factoring in him potentially escaping from sacks. How good is he going to be there? Because they can't touch the quarterback in practice. So we will not know until the season starts. And that's why September 11th, the season opener against the Bears, is going to start to teach us a whole heck of a lot about Trey Lance. I'm Buff likes overcast practices. Why is that? Since the 49ers put an emphasis on special teams this offseason, do you think Mitch Wishnowsky will be more of a positive or negative with punts this year? Well, if you have better coverage, he should be more of a positive, right? But a lot of it's going to depend on Mitch, too, placing the ball where it needs to be. How do I feel about a player swap with Jimmy Garoppolo instead of taking a draft pick? Well, somebody's willing to offer a good player that could help the 49ers. I'm sure they'll do it. So it's also possible. But then, I mean, you'd still have to work out some kind of salary thing because I don't think people are going to take on Garoppolo for the 26 or 24 million that they would owe him this year. But I don't know. Danielle Hunter. Yeah, they still have Danielle Hunter. The trees in the background look nice out there. They indeed do. Minnesota seems like a scenic place, especially in the summer. They got a lot of lakes there. That's why the LA Lakers are called Lakers. They used to be in Minnesota. They got 10,000 lakes in Minnesota. So they were called the Minnesota Lakers, moved to Los Angeles. They didn't change names. You know who else originated in Minnesota? Kyle Shanahan. The University of Minnesota's offensive coordinator in 1979, Mike Shanahan. Kyle was born there, but then Mike left to a different job. So 2 weeks into his life, Kyle Shanahan moved away from Minneapolis. But he has a Minnesota social security number, which I thought was interesting yesterday. 11,000 lakes, really, the land of 11,000 lakes, not just 10,000. I sold them 1,000 lakes short. Oswald Vasquez, what are your thoughts on Purdy? Reminds me of Mullins. I like how the 49ers are big on developing players. I think he's got a little bit more athleticism than Nick Mullins. I think he's got a little bit more arm talent, maybe a little bit more mobility. But I could see the parallels there. I think that the way that he plays the position might remind people of Nick Mullins as far as being businesslike and the demeanor there. He was working against third stringers, though. We can't lose sight of that fact. And the 49ers will continue to develop him. He's QB3 right now. It's a pretty clear delineation. Obviously, 1 is Lance, 2 is Sudfeld, 3 is Brock Purdy. Yeah, and Mullins didn't have the same type of pedigree leaving college, Vlad says, and I think that's a good point. Came from Southern Miss. There's a lot of wins for Brock Purdy coming in college there out of Iowa State. Interception alert. Quantrez Knight. This is from Brad at SF Niners. Let's get this sucker up there. 1 second, guys. have to make this larger and get it up on the screen. It's a lot of moving pieces here. Hide the comment. 49ers, this is their 19th interception of training camp. So at this point, I have to change this text title, go to 19 training camp interceptions, get this sucker up here and make it bigger. Brad at SF Niners for the video. Thanks for that. Let's see what happens here. Mond at quarterback. Oh my God. Trey and Sansom Ebukam in there, almost untouched. Oh, that's going to be brutal. And there's the pick from Quantrez Knight. So that's a second team 49ers defense pick, it looks like, based on the personnel out there. We're going to watch this one more time. That is interception number 19 for the 49ers of training camp. They had 11 throughout all of camp last year. They have 2 picks now in the joint practices. They didn't have any against the Chargers last year. This is not of Cousins, obviously. It's Mond, but still. Look at Ebukam. I mean, let's rewind that. Ebukam working against left tackle. I mean, this is springy. Watch this. Oh, man, that little hop right here. Look. Where do you get that from? He has flies from right here. Takes off at the 42, lands at the 39. He flies 3 yards. Right there. Just flies. Look at this. Springy from Ebukam. And then Teray also there. They crunch the quarterback, Quantrez Knight, with the interception. Vikings trying to say it's incomplete, but we're going to count that as a pick. Pick number 19 for the 49ers training camp. Brad at the SF Niners. Good job. Good video from practice. See if we got any more questions here. Yeah, I can probably hear my phone vibrating, but my phone is my camera right now, so. So looking at some of the questions, what a morning. What a morning. Any chance that Poe plays first or second team snaps in the next game, maybe even at center? Yeah, there's a real good chance that he plays, some significant action. I don't know what the rotation is going to be, but the 49ers probably going to rest a lot of starters in this second game against the Vikings. So we'll see. One thing I brought up is they don't have a fullback on the roster, and I don't think that Kyle Juszczyk is going to play. So do you use Poe as an H-back? Do you start experimenting with that in this game? I don't know, but it could be possible. I mean, that's something to keep an eye out for, though. We're going to watch the different machinations of the 49ers run up front and, just within the whole offensive structure in this game. Mike is texting me again. Let's see what's going on. Use Poe like refrigerator Perry. I enjoy the reference. Again, 19 interceptions for the 49ers in training camp so far. That's an impressive total. This has been fun. Just chilling, talking Niners with you guys. Nothing too serious. Make sure that you're subscribed to The Athletic, by the way. Sharing a lot of the articles on here. Matt's practice report from yesterday was a good one. It's going to be on the screen one more time. So I want you guys to be checking out. Sharing on social media. That's what we need to do. Poe, the 49ers' secret weapon. He might be. He might be the bowling ball, Jason Poe. I don't know if Jeff Wilson will be at fullback. I mean, he's a running back. And it's an entirely different skill set. Like, you got to have a bigger frame. You're taking on a lot of DNs blocking. That's the thing at fullback. Yeah, Trey probably won't play, but Kyle said that he wouldn't decide formally until after today's practice. So we'll see what the decision is. Really wish Lance is going to play this weekend against the Vikings, says Brian Lohr, 49ers fan, originally from Fresno. Shout out to you. Now living in St. Paul, Minnesota. Yeah, that's been kind of the sentiment, I think, in Minnesota, but Kyle Shanahan doesn't care. He had the most Shanahan quote yesterday. He was like, no, like, sentimentality doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to Kyle Shanahan. I thought that was funny. Looks like we got a Drake Jackson click. A Drake Jackson clip. Steph is just doing an amazing job. You could follow her on Twitter with these videos. They're coming. We'll give her a shout out here. Follow Stragosaurus on Twitter. Doing a great job with 49ers practice videos. Why don't you guys, right there, this is the account, put it up. Using some of the clips, can't compliment this work enough. All right, so what do we have here? Drake Jackson. Yeah, I think this is going to be Drake Jackson. Make this one bigger. Let's take a look at the 49ers rookie. Where's he rushing from? Near side, right here. Looks like he came in unblocked. Did they try to go tight end on the D end again? Oh, yeah, of course they did. Try to chip him with 40, and it didn't work. There's some very questionable pass protection schemes in the Vikings. And Drake Jackson, he's bendy. He shook that one off quick. And look, just the coordination, the arm length. And, I mean, this rep is about Kinlaw. Jackson powering his way through, knocks the ball away, but watch Javon Kinlaw. We're going to go right here. Kinlaw's going to be working against left guard here. Kinlaw powers his way. Or working against left tackle, and he powers his way in. I mean, this play has no chance because of Kinlaw and Jackson running in unencumbered. So good rep from the 49ers on that right side of the defensive line. But yeah, great videos from Steph on Twitter. Make sure you give the follow there. Yeah, everybody's tweeting about the Watson 11-game suspension. We talked about that earlier in the show. Deshaun Watson suspended 11 games. The question is, do the Browns think that is enough to pursue somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo, or do they believe that they can have Jacoby Brissett holding down the fort for those 11 games? That's the existential question that the Browns face. It's 65% of the regular season, 64.7% to be exact. So we'll see. Some thought it'd be a full season. It initially was 6 games. That seemed low based on what the league wanted, obviously. We got something right halfway in between, right? It ended up being it seemed like they hit that compromise right in between, plus the money from Deshaun Watson in that suspension. Something like what? $7 million in fines? Yeah, $7 million in fines. Javon Kinlaw. Yeah, it looked like he might have gotten held on that play, but 49ers can't count on holding being called against opposing offensive lines. We know that from Super Bowl 54. Bad memories for the 49ers. All right, well, we should be wrapping up practice here pretty soon. I should probably have the Twitter machine open. They call it TweetDeck. Good app, TweetDeck. It's not an app anymore. I have to use it web-based. I'm not going to be along. Ooh, Trey Lance to Debo. Take a look at this. Another one from Steph. Underneath. You need that short game to be on point. I'm going to share the screen here for you guys. Here it is. Trey to Debo underneath. I'm going to get the Deshaun Watson banner off. Yeah, Nick Bosa seems to be eating today. That's what all the talk on Twitter is about. I mean, nothing too exciting about this play, but it's a necessary one because that pocket is closing quick. Let's just watch the 49ers O-line. How are they doing here? Pushed back. It looks like some hands to the face there against Spencer Burford. Not committed by him, but he's getting pushed back with some hands to the face. But the pocket is collapsing there, so Lance has to go underneath option. Another sack for Lance, or of Lance, says Mike, who's tracking this really well. No, another sack for Bosa. Well, God, Mike. Just giving you a hard time. Bosa is just destroying the Vikings right now. Sack, 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 sack. Are we surprised? No, because it's Nick Bosa, and he's one of the best players in football. 49ers might have to face a little bit of a headache when they pay him next year. It's going to be a big contract, but he's going to deserve every single cent of it. So it sounds like we have some themes in practice today. Nick Bosa is really good. Trey Lance and the 49ers offensive line, in front of him is struggling a bit, but Lance is making some stuff happen. Lance is still a little spotty with the accuracy, but that's what we expected. And the 49ers have their 19th pick of camp, which is, I think officially, if we're going to have comparisons to last year's camp, we ended the tracking after the Chargers joint practices. They had 11. They didn't have any against the Chargers, though, but 11 picks throughout all of camp for the 49ers last year, 19 this year. To me, that's noteworthy. That's impressive. That's indicative of a newfound focus on this team. Joe Starkey will retire at the end of the 2022 season from announcing Cal football. Joe Starkey is the former 49ers play-by-play announcer. Throughout a lot of those dynastic years, Joe Starkey called a lot of big plays. I mean, the famous one is Owens, Packers catch 2. That's one I'm going to put up on the screen right now. We could talk about this with Joe Starkey retiring. Packers, 49ers. Throw this one up there, and we can talk a little bit of rivalry football. So Joe Starkey's most famous moment, I would say, broadcasting the 49ers. He had a lot of them. I mean, he called at least one Super Bowl, probably more. It's right here. This is Terrell Owens making that catch. And I wrote this article back in 2019. This is a great example of what the Athletic, allows us to do. I'll put this in the chat section. We can go really, really deep with these historical pieces. So I could find my interview with Joe Starkey, which is part of it. Here is the call. Young almost falls down, throws to the end zone. Owens, 5 times. He caught it. He caught it 4 times. 25-yard touchdown pass, Terrell Owens. He hasn't held on to anything, including his fingers, all day, and he makes the winning touchdown catch. Somehow, some way, Owens right down the middle. The coverage was there. The ball had to be perfect. It was, and he caught it. Niners will win it. Niners will win it. And this is what Joe Starkey said about the play. When I've called neutral games over the years, I always felt that it was important to be balanced, said Starkey. He also handled the call for the play, Cal's 1982 multiple lateral kick return victory over Stanford, the most famous play in college football history, possibly. And he also called the miracle on ice in radio fashion. Al Michaels is the famous call, but Starkey was also there for the U.S. hockey team beating the Soviet Union in 1980 at Lake Placid. But he goes, if you're the hometown broadcaster in a game that momentous, you have to go with the flow. I was pleased to be in that mode. The only thing I worried about, it's one thing to get excited. It's another to blow the call where you're so excited that you don't give all the facts. But I had no problem with that call at all. I thought I covered it the way you're supposed to. And I would agree. Thought he did a great job. There's Terrell Owens after the catch. Number 2, crying. I mean, an emotional moment for him at Steve Mariucci. Awesome, awesome stuff. I mean, this meant so much to the 49ers that Steve Young, coming off a loss a couple of years ago. I mean, they had lost the Packers in 3 straight years. This was the first postseason loss, 27-17. Young had like 60 pass attempts. It was crazy, but then they won with that. So check out The Athletic. You got thousands and thousands of words on 49ers Packers of the 90s with Joe Starkey announcing that he's going to retire after this 2022 season. This was a family fight. Steve Young's throw and a deeply personal 49ers Packers rivalry. The TO catch number 2. Forever young, indeed. So Bosa's having a big day. Another sack for Bosa in the red zone. Let's put it here. Nick Bosa is destroying the Vikings today. That's the news update that I have for you. Nick Bosa is destroying the Vikings. That's what I'm sure Matt will write about from Minnesota. Nick Bosa sacking the Minnesota Vikings. So be sure to check out The Athletic. I just put that cool article up there on the chat section. The channel as well. Like and sub here. Follow along on Twitter and Instagram. And obviously, Brad and Steph, a lot of their videos, just trying to give them some plugs, build their followings, just because they're doing a great job. Flew out to Minnesota, get their stuff out there. Matt Barrows also had a couple. Mayoko Branch, we used the picture there. Fun stuff. $11 games for Deshaun Watson, yes. All right, so practice is going to be wrapping up here shortly. Cal just sent out an email with Joe Starkey's career highlights. Oh, wow, it's an MP3 of his highlights. That's probably for Cal. Load content directly. I have to tweet out this article. I'm going to do that while I'm still online here. So give me a second. Former 49ers play-by-play voice Joe Starkey. Owens, it's 5 times Owens. Owens. Will be retiring from his job calling Cal games after this season. So let's bring this back. Tweet it out. There we go. All right, so we got a Bosa sack here because Bosa is dominating today. So this is from Steph Sanchez, and I will get it up on the screen for you. Why don't we get this here too? Nick Bosa is destroying the Vikings today. Case in point coming up right now. Red zone sack of Kirk Cousins working against right tackle. Oh, my God. So he can't take down the quarterbacks, but he got to him. He got his hands on Kirk. And there's Nick just going to work as he has been all morning long in Minnesota. It's Ken Crawley on the coverage, new 49ers corner. You see Corey Undlin, 49ers DB coach there in the back. Knocked away. So Nick Bosa just destroying that Minnesota front. Good stuff. Thanks to Steph for all the great videos today. All right. I am going to wrap this here in a little bit. Appreciate everybody. Make sure you sub to the channel. 49ers are going to be wrapping up practice here with the Vikings, and I'm going to get to the presser for Kyle. So good stuff. Sub to the Athletics, sub to the channel. Appreciate all you guys. Oh, and appreciate you from Delano, Arturo Romero. Thank you. Shout out to the 661 and the 559. Yeah, Valley Boys, baby. Like that. Thanks, Arturo. Good stuff, though, everybody. Welcome to our 2022 49ers coverage. I am going to sign off right now because it's going to be time to get to some of these pressers. All right, everybody, take care. Thank you again. And thanks to everybody who was out grabbing those good videos as well. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully you could follow them, get them some promotion as this goes along. All right. What a practice for the 49ers defense. They do a good job today. Everybody take care. Talk to you all soon.